What if I told you that the persistent, high-pitched ringing you've been brushing off as a minor annoyance, or perhaps the natural consequence of getting older, might actually be the most important distress signal your body is capable of sending? I know. We have been taught to ignore the hum, to live with the static, and to accept tinnitus as just another chapter in the book of aging. We turn up the radio to drown it out. We take a few over-the-counter supplements, and we hope it fades into the background. But there is a hidden, life-critical reality occurring within your inner ear and your vascular system that most of us are completely unaware of until the stakes become dangerously high. I am not here to scare you, and I am certainly not trying to sell you a miracle eardrop or a breakthrough cure. I am here to share the science-backed truth about why certain types of ringing are not a hearing problem at all, but a warning flare from your brain and your blood vessels. By the end of this video, you will understand the specific acoustic signatures that demand immediate emergency intervention, how your auditory nerves act as a diagnostic sensor for your cardiovascular health, and the life-saving actions you must take when the static turns into an alarm. So, stick with me. This is one of the most critical conversations you can have about your own safety. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is the place where we dig into the real science behind aging, brain health, and the hidden signals our bodies send us, without the hype, without the fear-mongering, and without trying to sell you a miracle supplement. Today we are tackling a subject that is often minimized, yet can be the difference between a routine checkup and a medical catastrophe. I am talking about tinnitus, specifically the pulsatile kind. You have heard the stories. You know someone who lives with a constant buzzing or ringing. We normalize it. We treat it as an inevitable nuisance. But as we age, the integrity of our vascular system changes, and the way our brain interprets blood flow, pressure, and oxygenation becomes infinitely more delicate. To understand the threat, we first have to distinguish between static tinnitus, the kind caused by long-term noise exposure or nerve degradation, and pulsatile tinnitus. Pulsatile tinnitus is a distinct rhythmic sound. It follows the beat of your heart. It sounds like a swooshing, a thumping, or a rhythmic drumming in one or both ears. When you hear this, you are not hearing a phantom noise generated by a damaged nerve. You are quite literally hearing your own blood flow. In a healthy, high-pressure system, your arteries and veins remain silent. But when a vessel becomes narrowed, obstructed, or inflamed, the blood flow becomes turbulent. That turbulence creates a physical vibration that reaches your inner ear. You are literally listening to a bottleneck in your own anatomy. This is where the danger becomes acute. If your ears are ringing in sync with your pulse, it can be a primary diagnostic indicator of serious underlying pathologies, ranging from vascular malformations to carotid artery stenosis, or even intracranial hypertension. This is not just a symptom you can manage with white noise. It is a mechanical failure in the system that supplies your brain with oxygen. In a young, robust body, you might have some elasticity in your vessels to buffer these pressure changes. But in an aging system, our vessels lose that compliance. They become stiffer. When you add high blood pressure or inflammatory plaque buildup to the equation, you are essentially narrowing the pipe and increasing the force of the flow. Research has highlighted that ignoring this specific type of ringing is a significant oversight that can mask looming cardiovascular events. We are talking about potential transient ischemic attacks or even an impending stroke. And the most dangerous part? It is localized. Because the sound is right inside your head, you assume it is an ear problem. You go to an audiologist, you get a hearing test, and everything comes back normal. But the audiologist isn't looking at your carotid arteries. They aren't checking the pressure gradient in your cranial vault. By the time you realize that the sound is a symptom of a systemic vascular crisis, you may have been losing valuable time that could have been used to stabilize your pressure and clear the obstruction. Now, I want to be clear about why this is happening so frequently in our aging population. It is a perfect storm of vascular aging and the modern lifestyle. We are living in a world that fundamentally strains our endothelial function, the health of the lining of our blood vessels. We consume diets that promote systemic inflammation. We lead sedentary lives that limit our vascular elasticity. and we endure levels of environmental and internal stress that our ancestors simply did not face. When your blood vessels are inflamed because your diet is devoid of proper nutrients, or because your gut microbiome is struggling with systemic stressors, you naturally experience shifts in your blood pressure that are far more volatile than they should be. Then, the ringing begins. But instead of seeing it as a metabolic cry for help, we label it as just aging and move on. This creates a vicious cycle. The sound is the warning, but the underlying inflammation is the disease. Let us go deeper into what that cycle looks like and how to break it. Many of you might not realize that your head noise is often a cry for help from your cerebral vasculature. When I speak about systemic vascular health, I am not talking about a temporary issue. I am talking about the state of the highways that feed your most vital organ. If those highways are clogged with plaque, or if the pressure within them is erratic, your brain will absolutely let you know, often by creating these auditory artifacts. Conventional medicine in many cases is far too siloed. It treats the ear in the ENT clinic and the heart in the cardiology suite, failing to connect the two until the crisis is undeniable. Take the role of arterial stiffness, for example. We spent decades focusing almost exclusively on cholesterol levels, often ignoring the mechanical health of the vessel walls themselves. If your arteries are rigid, they cannot absorb the pulse wave from your heart. That wave travels at full force straight into your cranial vessels. This is why hydration and mineral status are so critical. Your vasculature requires specific electrolytes, magnesium for relaxation, potassium for pressure regulation, to maintain its structural integrity. If you are dehydrated or nutrient depleted, your vessels become brittle. They don't expand and contract, they vibrate. When you combine this with high sodium levels that increase blood volume, you are essentially increasing the load on a system that is already struggling to regulate its own pressure. Furthermore, consider the environment of the nervous system as a whole. We often think of our ears as independent sensors, but they are deeply integrated into the brain's processing centers. When we eat ultra-processed foods filled with emulsifiers and artificial sweeteners, we are disrupting the balance of our gut-brain axis. This disruption leads to chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation. When large molecules that should stay in the gut leak into the bloodstream, your immune system views them as invaders. It mounts an attack. This is systemic inflammation in its most literal form. So you have gut-derived inflammation causing vessel wall degradation, you have blood pressure spikes counteracting your medication, and you have the ringing in your ears signaling that the internal pressure in your head is at a breaking point. You are trapped in a feedback loop where the symptom, the ringing, is being ignored while the problem is compounding. This is why looking for a doctor who thinks in systems is not just a preference, it is a requirement for your survival. If you have pulsatile tinnitus, you need more than a hearing test. You need a vascular assessment. You need to know if the sound is coming from a blockage in your carotid or vertebral arteries. You need to know if your intracranial pressure is dangerously elevated. This isn't about scaring you, it is about empowering you to ask the right questions before a minor symptom becomes a major event. Let's talk about specific, actionable ways to lower this inflammatory and pressure-related fire and protect your brain's delicate environment. One of the most underrated strategies is the targeted management of your resting blood pressure. We often feel fine even when our numbers are creeping up, but our vessels are feeling the impact. Daily monitoring is a non-negotiable protocol. I don't mean you need to be anxious about every reading, but you need to know your baseline. If you see a consistent upward trend, that is your primary signal to change your diet, adjust your sodium intake, and optimize your movement. This activity does two things. It relieves the immediate pressure on your vascular walls, and it provides a data-driven record you can bring to your doctor. A physician who sees a log of your pressure spikes alongside your description of the pulsatile tinnitus will have a much clearer, more urgent map of what is going on. Another factor we cannot ignore is the impact of sleep posture and head positioning. Many seniors struggle with cervical spine tension, that tightness in the neck and shoulders. Your vertebral arteries run right through the cervical spine. If your neck is chronically tight or misaligned due to poor sleep posture or sedentary habits, You could be mechanically compressing the blood flow to the back of your brain. This can lead to localized turbulence that you perceive as ringing. Try to ensure your pillow supports the natural curve of your neck. Focus on gentle, intentional stretches that open the chest and release the traps. If you can improve the circulation in your neck, you might notice a significant change in the acoustic environment of your head. Now, let us get real about the mental load. If you are constantly worried about your health, about your finances, or about the state of the world, your body is producing cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone that is meant for short-term survival, but when it stays high, it suppresses your immune system, raises your blood pressure, and interferes with your sleep. Poor sleep is the single greatest inhibitor of tissue repair. If you are not sleeping, your body is not healing. It's that simple. We have to prioritize our downtime. Whether that means reading a book, spending time in a garden, or practicing a quiet meditation in the morning, these are not luxuries. They are the essential maintenance protocols for a human body. When you lower your cortisol, you inherently lower your blood pressure, which reduces the force behind that pulsatile ringing. I want you to imagine a future where you are not reaching for a masking device or an earplug every time you need to focus. Imagine waking up and hearing only the natural, quiet sounds of the morning because you have been feeding your body with anti-inflammatory nutrients and keeping your vasculature supple through regular, mindful movement. Imagine having stable energy levels throughout the day because your blood sugar isn't constantly spiking and crashing. This isn't a fantasy. It is the reality for many who have chosen to step away from the cycle of convenient symptom management and instead lean into the science of longevity. When I urge you to talk to your doctor, I am not suggesting you go in with a list of demands. I am suggesting you go in with a partnership mindset. Bring your blood pressure logs. Show them that you are taking an active role in your health. Ask them specifically about the possibility of vascular turbulence being the source of your tinnitus. Ask for an ultrasound of your carotid arteries or an assessment of your intracranial pressure if the symptom persists. A good doctor will appreciate the initiative. They will be relieved that you want to move toward a more sustainable, health-focused approach. And if your doctor dismisses your concerns, or if they insist on the status quo without considering the systemic impact of your vascular health on your auditory symptoms, that is a sign that you might need a second opinion. You deserve a healthcare provider who is as invested in your long-term vitality as you are. Every time you choose a fresh piece of food over a processed, high-sodium product, or choose a brisk, calming walk over a stressful, sedentary afternoon, you are signaling to your body that you are committed to its longevity. You are building resilience. This journey of aging is not about decline, it is about refinement. It is about learning what truly serves your body and having the courage to leave behind the habits that no longer work for you. It is about understanding that your arteries are precious, that your brain is a temple of your consciousness, and that the choices you make today are the blueprints for how you will live tomorrow. We are uncovering these truths together. Every video, every discussion, every interaction we have here is part of that process. By sharing this, you aren't just protecting yourself. You are becoming an ambassador for a better way to live. The silent damage that these common food choices and lifestyle habits cause is a tragedy that is easily avoided once the knowledge is shared. So, keep that notebook. Keep tracking your pressure. Keep asking those questions. Keep pushing for a better standard of health. We are in this for the long haul, and I am proud of you for taking these steps to protect your future. Thank you for your commitment to this journey, for your curiosity, and for your dedication to building a healthier, more vibrant life. Your strength and your resolve are what make this community such a powerful force for change. We will keep digging into science, we will keep questioning the conventional wisdom, and we will keep moving toward a future where we don't just age, we thrive. Consider the holistic approach of thermotherapy and cryotherapy as well. Many of you might have heard of cold plunges or saunas, and while they might sound trendy, they are rooted in ancient principles of vascular training. When you expose your body to heat, you cause vasodilation. Your blood vessels open up, increasing circulation to the skin and muscles. When you follow that with a cold, you cause vasoconstriction. This cycle acts like a gym for your blood vessels. It improves the elasticity of your arteries and veins, helping your body regulate temperature and blood flow more effectively. For those suffering from tension-related vascular issues, a simple warm bath with Epsom salts, which are high in magnesium, can offer localized relief without a single milligram of systemic medication. It provides the warmth to soothe the tissues and the minerals to relax the muscles, creating a dual-action effect that is far safer than a pill. We also have to address the issue of weight and vascular load. As we age, the cumulative stress on our blood vessels from carrying extra weight is significant. Every pound of weight you carry translates to increased work for your heart, which manifests as higher pressure in your cerebral arteries. Losing just 5 or 10 pounds can drastically reduce the wear and tear on your entire circulatory system, making you feel more mobile and reducing the intensity of that pulsatile ringing. This doesn't require a radical starvation-style diet. Focus on protein, which protects your muscle mass, and fiber-rich vegetables that nourish your microbiome and support healthy blood flow. Finally, let us discuss the importance of community and mental health. Loneliness and social isolation are significant risk factors for physical and cognitive decline. When you are connected to a community, your physiological responses are significantly healthier. If you are feeling isolated, reach out. Find a walking group, join a book club, or volunteer. The act of engaging with others provides a form of psychological nourishment that can change your pain and symptom perception. By sharing experiences, offering support, and building lasting friendships, you actively foster a deeper sense of belonging, which significantly boosts your overall vitality and helps maintain long-term cognitive clarity and lasting emotional well-being. It is absolutely vital to understand that your body possesses an innate, deep-seated wisdom that often speaks through these subtle, persistent symptoms before a major crisis unfolds. By choosing to pay attention to these quiet whispers, you are effectively shifting from a passive recipient of aging to an active, vigilant architect of your own lasting health, vitality, and true long-term neurological preservation. All of these strategies, nutrition, movement, hydration, mindfulness, social connection, work together to build a robust, healthy body that doesn't need to rely on dangerous, processed foods or ignore life-critical symptoms. You have the power to influence your biology. You have the power to protect your brain and your overall health. It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking what simple, fast fix can I use to stop this ringing, ask what can I do to help my body heal and regain its balance. This is the path to longevity. If this resonated with you, if you realize that you might be ignoring a warning sign that needs professional attention, please let me know in the comments. Your engagement helps me understand what you are struggling with. Do not forget to hit the like button, as it signals that this is the kind of science-backed, helpful information that seniors want to see. Together, we are creating a lasting legacy of vitality, wisdom, and strength for generations to follow. Take care of your body, cherish your health, and I will see you in the next one, my dear resilient friends. Stay curious and keep thriving.